in some ways.
My mother's already said it. Sorry.
Lily had been a conductor of her children's life experiences, but she was a student of life as well. She had lived long enough to know that everyone reaches at least one crossroad in their life, and often not by their own choice. Crossroads may be scary, but she was determined to think of them as a place of opportunity and never overthink any of her decisions. It was part of the courage with which she had approached everything in life.
Thanks, Shri. So when we think about that and life lessons that we have learned, what has it taught? I'd like to know what you have learned with your own life experiences. Either of you, both of you? I want to hear from both of you.
It's too vast a question. I'm afraid we spend the entire afternoon doing this. We are all shaped by our experiences inevitably, and I've had more than my fair share of experiences. I'm not sure which one to talk about. But growing up with mummy, it was certainly an education itself. And I think one thing that's been rather wonderful for me, as I think I mentioned in the prologue, is that we really had a difficult relationship throughout my childhood and my early adulthood. And now I find myself in this situation where she's living with me at her oldest and most vulnerable. And it's just amazing how close we've become, and the genuine sort of love and tenderness I feel, and the kind of, I indulge her in ways that she never indulged me when I was growing up. So it's a curious
That's
sort of
my
role.
next question, funnily enough, but okay. Yeah. So you hijacked my next question, but that's
Sorry
fine. But yeah, so maybe you should continue with that, and then I'll go back to the original question to you, Shri. So, because obviously you lived in another country and then you moved to India, and Mom has been with you since 2009 for a couple of years.
2019.
Since 2020, permanently. And tell us a little bit more, explain a little bit more. You started that.
Well, she came for a month at the end of 19, and then we went off for this wonderful reunion with the whole family, all their descendants and their spouses and their children all got together in Cancun, Mexico for New Year's. And then we came back, and unfortunately COVID struck. So she was on the verge of returning to Kerala after what would have been about 3 months or 4 months away, mostly spent with me in Delhi and Shanghai, California. No, I mentioned. But then when COVID struck, she got stranded, and of course she got used to the rhythms of life at home. We had a lockdown that lasted for quite a long time, and at the end of it all, I think it just seemed natural to insist that she basically continue her life with me. I think now she's reached a stage where some things have changed fundamentally for her. She was always the self-reliant one. We've all talked about this in Shobha's written it in the book. Somebody who well into her 80s insisted on being totally self-sufficient. She drove herself. Can you imagine an Indian woman in her 80s driving herself to the market with her father? She would refuse to hire a full-time servant or cook or domestic helper. She wanted somebody to come in for a few hours to clean. She was rather messy and hated cleaning. But everything else, if a guest came by for a cup of tea, she'd go and make it herself. She was very, very self-reliant. And suddenly to see such a person transforming into somebody who was really quite almost excessively dependent, that has been sad and sobering, but it also shows that in some ways that's what happens when you let go. So I keep telling myself, what I've learned from watching her is that, as long as you want to stay focused and relevant, don't let go. But once you let go, the decline gets very quick and very steep.
That's